even the space math had to be real. You know space math.
Don't we all?
Right?
Yeah.
This mission is what you Americans would call a long shot.
Hail Mary. I get it now.
There's so much science in the movie, obviously. Was there anything that you learned about science, space throughout this that still blows your mind?
I think that we're in space right now. It's still a hard thing to wrap my head around. You know? You don't have to go to space to be in space like we are. We're in space.
Oh my God, existential crisis.
I know, it's just all of it. And no matter how much I think about it, I never understand it, but it's fun to try. And it's fun to be around people that do understand it.
I mean, the whole experiment they make with the gravity and how to create it, it's just blowing my mind still. The whole idea of the astrophage and all of these things that are really, really interesting to me. Yes, of course, I learned a lot.
There's so many little science details. Having Andy on the set with us or just texting him going like, how does this work at all times was super, super helpful.
The thing that I was most impressed by talking to astronauts and folks like the folks here at JPL is how messy space is. You know, the guts are on the outside because you have to fix them. And so when we thought about the idea of sending a teacher into space, Ryan and us were really interested in him being bad at space and messy. So I like the idea that like a novice in space would like leave his stuff around and then suddenly the gravity would turn off and it would come up. And Shell, one of the astronauts who consulted on the movie, was like, it's like that.
Yeah.
And you bump into stuff and it's not clean.
Yeah, it's not balletic. It's really, it's clunky.
Yeah.
It's a prototype.
I'm not an astronaut.
If you don't go, you die. With the rest of us.
Obviously, when adapting a book, not everything can make the big screen. Do you have any small moments from the book that you really loved that you were like, no matter what, this has to make it into the movie?
Without spoilers, I don't know.
I can say the ending.
Yeah, the ending.
For sure. When I got to the ending of the book, I gasped, and I thought, this is going to be hard because people are going to try to get us to cut this or change this. And I remember thinking it's going to be a fight, but I will die on this hill to protect this without question.
Was there a specific line that you had to deliver with complete scientific seriousness that you were like, I can't say this with a straight face?
There's so much technical, the stuff that was so important. And especially to Andy, which is part of his genius, is that it's so like scientifically grounded and everything in the film was, and even the spaceship itself was like very scientifically grounded. I don't think the production designer really accepted that it didn't need to be a functioning spacecraft. Everything was sharp, everything hurt, everything was so real. And even the space math had to be real. So when I was on the whiteboard working out space math problems, I ended up getting an earwig and I asked Andy to just tell me what to write while I was writing it because I just didn't have enough space in my own brain. Because, you know space math.
Don't we all?
Right?
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think it would be preferable if you did not die.
That was a good one.
The consensus here is that it would be preferable if you did not die.
Thanks, guys.
At Comic-Con last summer, I was at the Hall H panel, and I know you described Phil and Chris not as directors, but as wizards. Talk to me a little bit about some of that movie magic that happened. What was something that you really loved nerding out on?
Phil loves duct tape. He likes the sound of it. He likes the ripping. He really gets into duct tape. I think his dad loves duct tape, and he passed it on to him, so there's a lot of duct tape in this movie. But really, they're just so fun to work with because they're willing to explore any direction that the scene is taking us, you know. I remember there was a scene where I had been working for like maybe 100 days or something alone or something, and I just was kind of needing company. So I said, I want to make a friend out of a mop, and I want to do the scenes today with this mop friend. And they were like on it, and they were like both got materials, and they made this mop for me that they called Moppy Ringwall. And I got to spend the day, we danced, you know, and it was like not many filmmakers are gonna stop everything and make a mop friend for you. It's just, they're just great dance partners in that way.
I put the not in astronaut. I've never done anything. I've never done a spacewalk. I can't even moonwalk.
The amount of communication that happened between the two and also between them and us was so big. It's been such a pleasure to have this form of transparency and trust and collaboration. There is a lot of space for inventing things and for trying things and then throwing them away, which is I relate to very much because I started in theater and I still love doing it. So the moment where you can just try and find out how a scene is working and what else is in there except the things that are written down. So it's constant exchange. It's really beautiful.
There are infinite possibilities for this to go wrong.
What was a piece of movie magic, let's say, that you love to nerd out on?
I think the scene when Ryland and Rocky first really meet and having the puppet team and Ryan on other sides of this glass wall and pitching things for Ryan to do with his body and having the puppet team try and copy him.
Yes.
And having them imitate each other led to this like magical moment on screen we were watching going like, oh, this is something special.
The thing that's wild about magic is that it's actually an incredible amount of like preparation and practice that goes into like learning how to count cards or like do a like fancy shuffle in order for you to feel a sense of childlike wonder for like 1 second. And a movie crew does that. It's like hundreds of people working for years to figure out how to design this creature, to build these sets. How are we gonna shoot through glass, right? And then when the take happens and you see the spontaneity of these two people working together and just thinking of something in the moment, you capture it on camera, that does feel like magic.
Grace Rocky save stars.
Rocky's one-liners throughout the movie and the book are just...
He's got zingers for days. Call it fist bump, by the way.
Fist my bum. It's not the same.
Wondering if you have one, or maybe a couple if you can't choose one, a favorite one-liner of Rocky's.
I like Rocky hate Mark. Mark is a close personal friend of mine, somebody I work with a lot, and I did it as a joke on set just for him because he was there, and I was like, she's dating this guy named Mark, but now she's with Mark. And then James, who's a great improver, just went, Rocky hate Mark. And I just think that's really funny.
Well, from the book, and then I think they put it in to the movie, but he's like, grumpy, angry, stupid, how long since last sleep?
Yeah, that's really good.
Well, one that wasn't in the book, one of Drew's, was have idea. First, don't crash, then not die.
Then not die.
Or something like that. First, don't crash, then not explode. Something like that.
Deal, yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
So I was at the panel at Comic-Con last summer, which was so much fun. And I loved what you guys said about not taking shortcuts to make your lives easier.
Yeah.
It's true.
Wondering if you can give me an example of something where you were like, this is going to make our lives a lot harder, but we want to do it this
Well,
way.
Rocky is a really good example.
Yeah. No face, no mouth, no eyes. He has to stay behind a wall or in a ball at all times. All of these things are like the type of things that sometimes people making a movie are like, what if we just gave him a cute little face?
Yeah,
Or
wouldn't
whatever.
it be easier? But the thing about the story is that it is about all the obstacles there are between us and another person and what it takes to connect with somebody in spite of those things. We always say this movie is about, can adult men make friends if the universe depends on it?
I'm gonna call you Rocky. Thumbs up. Nope, that's thumbs down.
Andy, I read that some science came out after The Martian was released that changed some of the science that had been in that film and book. How happy are you that Arid is far enough away that that is not going to be happening anytime soon with this story?
It's already happened. So, yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, I'm a science fiction writer. My books will eventually run afoul of real science as real science continues to develop. In the case of The Martian, Mark Watney is on Mars and he needs to manufacture water. After The Martian came out, after the book Curiosity, here we are at JPL, the people who made it. Curiosity landed on Mars and found out there's an enormous amount of water ice in the soil. So Mark didn't have to do any of that stuff to make it. But the book is a product of its time in 2013 when the book was released. And Project Hail Mary is the same thing. It's accurate to 2021 or 2020 when I wrote it. It has since been, it's probably the fact that 40 Eridani AB does not exist. And it was probably an artifact of like stellar activity and flares and stuff. And they thought there was an exoplanet there, but there wasn't. So Rocky's homeworld, at the time I wrote it, everybody thought there was a planet there. Now, maybe there isn't. It is what it is. And I'm happy with it.
And we can keep it special just as Rocky's Place.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
I like that.
It's now or never.
Talk to me a little bit about the first time you saw the film with all the effects, the music pounding, all of that. What was that experience like?
This has been a 5-year journey. I read it as a manuscript before it was even published. I felt like it was this epic opportunity to have a cinematic experience where you go to another galaxy, you make an alien best friend, you save the world. It's not bad for a Friday night. And that at the same time, it was this like reminder of what we're capable of as human beings. And people love this book. You know, they all describe it as the best book they've ever read. I'm amongst those people. But then once you realize how many people love this and how important it is to them, getting it right was very important. So seeing it all come together finally, it was like, it's a hard feeling to explain because I feel like we did it. You know, I feel really, really proud of the movie, and I think that we honored what people love about the book.
It is time go.
I think you mean go time, pal.